Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Welcome to another edition of our Dailyish Devotionals. I am Pastor Brian, and it is Tuesday after Memorial Day weekend. And it feels like forever since I've done one of these. I'm glad to be back at it. I hope you enjoy it. Had some internet issues this morning and some computer issues. Internet hasn't happened since Tracy's been on, so it might just be one of those mornings, those small little glitches. Hopefully it gets figured out. But man, that's annoying, isn't it? I guess first world problem. But I also got a new computer, and getting used to those newness. I mean, it's not much different than my old one, of course, but it's just getting different, used to the different things, and getting other things loaded back on it that you need. Always remind me that I'm old, so change is hard and technology is getting beyond me. All that stuff. But I think we're powering through this morning. I thank you for your concerns and your prayers as you deal with these life-altering situations, low internet and different computers. Many of you have seen this movie or recognize it. If you have seen it, you certainly recognize it. If not, it's The Big Lebowski. It's a few years old. I don't know. It's probably been a while since that's been out. Funny movie. My sense of humor throughout the whole movie. So if you roll your eyes at my jokes, you may roll your eyes at this movie. As you might at the cartoon over there. The deer that's mesmerized by Jesus' light. Funny stuff. Tracy, I see your eyes rolling as you watch this, and I see the other 5 to 10 people watching this, their eyes rolling off. In Ron's book today, Sergeant Trip with a Full Tank, I think he wrote the devotional for me. Titled it Control. And I've talked before about how I like to have the illusion that I have everything under control and control what happens to me and my family at all times, which I know is ridiculous, yet I like to hold on to that illusion. I think God, as Ron reminds us in this chapter, wants us to understand that God, is the ultimate. So, Ron gives the example of a husband and wife driving across the country, a long trip. He likes to keep controlling driving the car till almost the point of exhaustion. And then he finally lets his wife take over. Any of us can probably relate to that. Maybe the control freak isn't in always having to drive. Maybe it's something else in your life where you just always have to be the one doing. Those aren't always necessarily terrible or bad, but it's just an example of us wanting to be control freaks. Ron has an example from the Bible. It's in 2 Kings chapter 5, and it's a story of Naaman, a military leader. He's a commander of the army of the king of Aram. He was a great man in the sight of his master and highly regarded, because through him the Lord had given victory to Aram. He was a valiant soldier, but he had lepers. So Naaman went to see Elisha, the man of God in Israel, and received instructions to go bathe in the Jordan River. Verse 10 has Elisha saying, "Go wash yourself 7 times in the Jordan, and your flesh will be restored." But Naaman complains and grumbles, "Are not the rivers of Damascus better than any of the waters of Israel? Couldn't I wash in them and be cleansed?" So he turned and went off in a rage. Naaman received his instructions from God, the prophet, the man of God, Elisha, but yet he wanted to be in control. He couldn't quite give that much control over God. Namely because going and bathing in the Jordan was inferior to him. It was beneath him to do that. He wanted to be in control. Luckily, the story didn't end there, and Naaman's servants convinced him to go to Israel and bathe in the Jordan, and his leprosy is cured. Naaman basically was saying, I know I have a problem bigger than I am. I'll go to God, but I'll fix it my way, my own. I wonder if I do. I find myself doing that sometimes. I have a problem, a situation. I'll go to God with it, but I want to fix it my own way. Which seems just silly, right? Ask God for help, but don't listen to God's instructions. Do it your own way. We do that all the time. We will give God everything. We'll give Him money, time, service, loyalty, and belief. We'll give God everything, but not control. Then a moment in our life happens where we're reminded, a bolt of lightning or 2x4 upside the head, that we have very little control. Many things happen that are out of our control. Then we're shattered and our world comes crumbling down because all those illusions of control fall around us. Wouldn't it just be easier if we gave everything to God and realized that God and Jesus are in control of all this? It's really out of our hands. Our job is just to find out what's their will for our life, which is what's best for our life. It sounds great. Actually, a great quote, great life motto, right? Let go and give God. How does one actually do that? I can only speak for myself and how I listen, how God speaks to me. I don't get text messages. I don't get voices. I don't get angels visiting me at night. I get gut feelings. I just get a sense that's what I'm supposed to do. That's usually after prayer, thinking about it, and a lot of listening for God. You know how many times I've implored us to have 20 minutes or 30 minutes set aside each day to listen to God, to pray, to read some scripture? Not 10 or 15 minutes right before you fall asleep at night, not the 20-minute drive into work. All can be times for prayer and connection, but it's not the dedicated time that we need. Because we need practice. I need practice. Listening for God, the Spirit, and the still small voice in my life. I also need that time to dedicate to the gift of God, to build that relationship. I talk about that all the time. Because that's how we learn. That's how we give control. That's how we figure out what God is telling us. So an example would be if you have a big decision to make in life, a new job, a big purchase, whatever it might be. Or even if you're praying about help me raise my children, or this friend I just haven't gotten along with, we're having this big fight, a coworker that I just can't seem to get along with. I really would like to help remedy that situation. God, help me. You can pray about it. And you always hear those things where you just pray and give it to God and everything is well. That's not how it's worked in my life. It's all the time. It takes some dedication on our part. So I would say you pray about the situation. Say, God, this is what's happening. How do you want me to handle it? Then you read a little scripture and just listen. Those 20 minutes, that half hour, every day. You'll feel what should be done. And then faith is having the courage to follow through. Actually let God have control. Sometimes, a lot of times, like that command of name it, it's an uncomfortable thing. It's not an easy thing to let God have control and follow through with God's voice or God's pushings, God's prodding in our lives. Because it's contrary a lot of times to what we think. Sometimes God's path is more difficult, but I guarantee you it's more rewarding. Pray about it. Give God your earnest heart and feelings, and then listen. Do that until you get that gut sense, that feeling of what you should do, and have the courage to follow through. Then also have the grace to know that if you screw it up, God will still be there helping you make the next decision. You've got to have that time. Listen, where you devote yourself to time with God. And expect miracles. You're not going to get anything on your own end. Amen? Amen.